Well, as you can tell, it's time to do another fish report, and I'm not on the river. Um, yeah, I'm at my truck. Boring background, no really cool river background. So just pretend that we have a really nice river back here. Guys are doing really cool spay cast and hooking fish, and it's not the truck with all the gear hanging from the racks and everything else. Uh, Microphones sometimes don't work when the batteries go dead. So here we are. Once again, we did all right this week. It was one of these weeks where we started out really well. We had really good fishing. The salmon are definitely spawning everywhere, and so the aggression level of the fish have picked up until the last few days. A warm front moved in. It's gotten hot. The water temperatures have gotten hot. Water temperatures have risen. We're dealing with some places on the river late afternoon temperatures 65 degrees. As a result, we got a river full of very crabby fish. It's like us trying to do heavy work in a 90-degree heat. They're just not interested, and so they're just kind of moping around. So that's really kind of put a funk into the fishing. So our best fishing we've had in the last few days has been early morning. About mid-morning, those fish go into that funk, and things get tough for the rest of the day. That's been with the salmon. We are still finding a lot of brown trout. The steelhead are kind of showing up, but with that warm spike in the temperatures, that's slowed the steelhead down quite a bit. So water flows. We're at 350 still out of the dam, but understand we've had 2 weeks of dry weather, so that runoff has been waning. So we're getting more to a solid 350 at Pineville. We're probably around 400 CFS, 50 CFS and runoff. So we need some rain, and we need a change in the weather to get the fish attitude to change. And it looks like we're going to get that by the weekend. And I'm shooting this in the middle of the week. Hopefully to post it today. So they're talking about a front coming in probably Friday through the weekend. That's supposed to have some rain and definitely cooling off. So that'll drop the water temperatures, get the water temperatures hopefully back into the 50s where we need it. And that'll get the fish active, and that'll get everything back on track. As in, for what we're going to see more, the rumor mill is that the guys in the lake are still grafting and finding fish out in front of the mouth of the Salmon River. So that's saying that there's still a lot of salmon to come in. There's some fish kind of moping around in the estuary, so there's some fish just sitting there. Nothing wants to move right now in the warm water, obviously. So that's kind of what's going on with the salmon. Keep in mind that with the spawning activity, the best fishing activity you're going to find is that around spawning habitat, because those fish are going to be leaving the pools, the holding water, going up onto the spawning habitat now, and that's where they're going to be concentrating. So any fish that are really sitting in these pools and stuff, they're going to be more kind of not too aggressive, where the fish up in the spawn are going to be very aggressive. So you want to concentrate your efforts around the gravel, the heads of the pools, and places like that. As for steelhead, we're seeing them. We're picking them a lot, swinging egg-sucking leeches. We're starting to play around with egg patterns. We're starting to find some steelhead on egg patterns. We're getting a bunch of salmon on egg patterns, by the way. Egg patterns, egg beaters, nuclear roe bugs. Our best color right now is orange. Same thing with egg-sucking leeches, and we're running those in 4s and 6s. We're keeping them kind of big. Pretty much the same fly box, but we're adding egg flies to that mix. The brown trout, we're finding them every day. They're there. We're bumping into them, sometimes 2 or 3 for our group during the day. So we're having some surprisingly good brown trout fishing for the Salmon River for this time of the year. The upper part, and that's basically what's been going on in the Douglas and Salmon Run, where we've been focusing. You guys that are not fishing the Douglas Salmon Run, focus your efforts upriver, like above Pineville, right up to the fly zones. And it'll be pretty much the same drill, but probably not as much for trout. There is some browns up there. There's a few steelhead up there. There's a bunch of cohos and a bunch of salmon. There's a lot of fish in the top end of the river. You're dealing with a crabby, grumpy salmon gig like we are. So what you want to do is probably back off these fish, make a longer cast, fish a little lighter tippet, fish a softer drift, more of a dead drift, not as much of a harsh swing, and you should get your bites. So that's kind of what's been going on with the fishing. I'm hoping that going into next week we'll have that weather change. We'll have a cold front come in. It'll cool off the water temperatures, and the fishing pressure the fishing pace will pick up. As for fishing pressures, Columbus Day weekend was last weekend. As you can imagine, it was really busy. The fishing pressure has backed off, especially in the upper part. It's gotten a little quieter. So you guys that are thinking about maybe coming up and getting into some late salmon and getting some quality, there's a good chance after this cold front we'll have some quality fish coming through the system for Chinooks. You guys that are interested in the steelhead and the trout, now is the time to start looking at that and thinking about it. Once again, if we get the front we're supposed to get in for the weekend, that'll be a game changer and it'll turn everything on. And the river's still a 4-species river right now. We're getting a mix of cohos, Chinooks, salmon, brown trout, and steelhead. Obviously the brown trout and steelhead numbers are way low, but that should be picking up quite on a regular basis at this point. Forward, and our salmon numbers eventually should start to drop, but we haven't seen that die off yet. There is a bunch of really ratty salmon in the upper river that's been spawning for a week, and so the zombies are starting to show up. So you may want to use your polarized glasses and look for the nicer looking fish and try to sort that out and target when you're sight fishing, target for the nice looking fish. But there is a lot of fish in both the lower and the upper fly zone, a lot of salmon there. If you're up into those upper fly zones, I would definitely be fishing egg patterns, probably 10s, 8s, and egg sucking leeches, woolly buggers around size 6s, maybe 8s, and I'd be fusing probably 8 to 10 pound tippet. Yeah, it's light for salmon, but you'll get your bites. You just have to be careful about how hard you pull on these fish and use some tactics instead of brute force and landing them. So that's basically what's going on in a nutshell. We got hats on order. I haven't seen them yet. So usually looking for hats are on order. I'll probably announce a system next week in our next update how we can ship them to you. I am moderately organized. These are the fly boxes. I don't know if we can get a nice look on them with the plastic thing, but take them out of the wrapper. They got the Lost Rivers logo on them. And the nice thing about these things is they can hold a lot of buggers, egg flies, nymphs, and they'll fit into a pocket really nice, down a pair of waders. And so they can be really handy box to keep a lot of flies for out for the day. So we have those. So if you see me or Rick or George, give a yell. We got fly boxes on us at least. And hopefully we'll get our hats soon. So we're still waiting on that. I'm also, once again, thanks to everybody that stopped and said hello to us on the river, that watched the videos. It's great meeting you. We got a bunch of new subscribers. Welcome to the channel. I hope you enjoy it and you find it useful. And as always, don't forget that subscribe button and that bell icon right next to it so you get the notifications when we put something up. I have been promising a video for the last 2 months. We got one in the works. I should have it up next week, hopefully. We've been busy guiding, struggling with everything. As you can imagine, it's tough to produce videos and keep our guide schedule at the same time, but I'm hoping to have a really cool fishing video for everybody to look at here pretty soon. So once again, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope to see you on the river. Until next time, good fishing, and thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. See you, folks.
This is Jay at JPEG Guides and Lost River Fishing. We are a year-round fly fishing catch and release guide service. We fish the Lake Ontario tributaries, and then during the spring and the summer we also fish the inland trout streams, classic dry fly fishing. During the heat of the summer we will do the warm water fishing for bass and pike. If you're interested in any of our outings or have any questions, please feel free to email us at fish@lostriversfishing.com. Hope to hear from you, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact us.